broadcasting media and shaping public opinion. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to speak in front of you today. So I'm going to talk about broadcast media shaping public opinion, and I'm going to take you through the process why I chose about broadcast media as TV, because that's what I'm going to be speaking about. I'm going to tell you about some examples, and my presentation is a little bit more politically oriented, because that's what I was focusing on. And then I'm going to tell you about the drawbacks and setbacks, and what do I believe about the future of broadcast media. So, when I started to think about which kind of media that I want to talk about, I lay out these three PNGs in front of me and icons, and I said to myself, okay, so paper and news and magazines, although they're still the breakers of major stories around the world today, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, they still break major stories, and I know that newspapers are still kind of the source for elites to follow up on politically, I can say, but still, they're not the key player in the information or public policy shaping nowadays. And the radio, in my opinion, is also a little bit dying slowly. It's not as it used to be in the 60s or before. The TV, I'm going to talk about that, and I'm a big fan of social media and the internet, and I do believe that at the end, social media, it's probably going to overcome the TV. I sometimes actually forget that I own a TV. But anyway, what I was shocked is to see that TV is still the major key player in shaping public opinion until now. Actually, studies showcase that 60% of the population in the US are influenced, and they make their decisions based on the information that they get from cable TV and news TV. And as the beginning, I was also shocked, because for me, social media is like the key now player, but I was shocked by the facts. So I want to tell you an example how they started to use TV in shaping public opinion. And the biggest example is, if you're familiar with President Roosevelt, and he was the first president to start broadcast himself, which with the famous fireside chats to the people, where he sits in the evening next to the fireplace and explains to the public his policy and why his government is making such policies in the government. And what's fascinating is the response that they got. Previously, before him, the White House used to receive around 5,000 letters during the time of President Hoover. It grew to 50,000 letters per week delivered during his time. So I think he was very smart in using TV to shape public opinion and try to communicate with the audience as well. So that's why governments have tried to regulate broadcast media, and they have failed many times. A great example is when they tried to put the fairness doctrine. So government said, okay, they're afraid that TV channels might influence the opinions of the people, so they might broadcast some things and hide other things. So the FCC came up with this regulation that's called the fairness. So for example, if a TV channel would broadcast some kind of a TV show about the against, let's say, the war on Iraq, let's say, they have to broadcast another TV show for the same length that is actually supporting the war. But this didn't work out. Actually, I think Ronald Reagan vetoed the legislation, and it did never pass. However, they still kind of regulated passively, because to own a TV channel, you need to get a license and permission from the government, because it's a very small and narrow, how to say, it is difficult to obtain a license to broadcast media on TV, and the license should be renewed every 5 years. So I think this is the only way that they kind of now regulate. However, they failed in regulating any other things or to limit specific topics to be done. Another one is the fair amount of debate. So if two political candidates are debating, they should be given equal rights, but this also has been vetoed before, and it has been removed. So they are not obliged now to do this. So the drawbacks. The drawbacks about the TV is, although It has a massive reach. Television stories are very short and usually less than 2 minutes, and they are less informative and condensed and might provide enough information regarding the discussed topics. I think this is the major drawback that broadcast media as TV has today. Also, the manipulation. I don't know if you have heard about this recent incident, but TV channels like Fox News and CNN and other major channels in the US have followed hawks like the secret organizations of the FBI and the secret messages. For 6 weeks, they kept promoting and they kept giving prime time to these stories that after 6 months they discovered to be absolute hawk and they don't have any facts. However, during the same time, public opinion has been shifted from stories that really matters, from some kind of incidents that the people should have been more aware of by this kind of hoaxes. Some people might say, I just want to make a last point about this. Some people might say that politicians are using this to manipulate the media. So if they want to shift the public opinion, they might give false information, or those cookies, they call them, something to sound really sweet about, wow, a secret organization or something, to shift the opinion of the people. However, I can debate that the TV channel have the control over what they're broadcasting. So they had the final say in what they should broadcast, what they should have given priority or not. So we can argue who's to blame, the politicians or the media on this one. So, I can argue also. So it is true that the role of broadcast media is decreasing with the rise of social media platforms and the powerful modern tools such as YouTube, for example, that might in the future take over. I do believe it will take over the TV, but one cannot ignore the fact that broadcast media is still the key player in shaping public opinion nowadays. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ivan. May I ask you a personal question?
Please.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, that's why you're surprised that TV is shaping public opinion. Thank you. So ask your parents, ask your grandparents. That's why.
Ask us.
True.
Ask us.
Yeah.
Ask us. Okay.
True. Although I kind of understood, but with the viral content on social media, and now, like, even my parents have Facebook now.
Yeah, I know, but
So-
you can. But you cannot judge